Now at 8 o'clock, new video from the Oregon Department of Justice shows what the DOJ says is excessive force used by federal officers outside Portland's ICE facility. We'll take a closer look coming up in one of our top stories.
And as local nonprofits ramp up production to feed some of Oregon's roughly 750,000 SNAP recipients, the Trump administration says it will partly fund SNAP for the remainder of the month.
Also, if you didn't remember, today is Election Day. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is going to bring us everything voters in Oregon and Southwest Washington need to know before they turn in their ballots later tonight. The 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Before we get to Rod Hill and his Tuesday forecast, we do have some news this morning to get to right off the bat. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at 84. He served 2 terms as VP under President George W. Bush from 2000 to 2008. We'll have a closer look at his life in politics coming up in our next half hour.
Rod and Chris are standing by now for a look at your weather and traffic.
All right, thank you for that. Good morning. Cloudy skies. Again, there's a little trace or touch of light moisture in some spots, but generally we are dry. You see the clouds right here, this next surge. That's the rain incoming into the valley mid-afternoon to late afternoon today, arriving from south to north. Here is a low cloud deck nipping at the top of the state capitol in Salem. It's 50 degrees. Everybody's pretty mild out again this morning. Portland's temperature is 49. We have fog up in the West Hills. We'll be dry at noon today, 56 degrees. And then again, mid to late afternoon, everything is coming up from the south. So weather models like it raining in Portland by 5 p.m. this afternoon. And that kicks off a pretty wet stretch of time that doesn't wrap up until Friday morning. Back to you, Chris.
Well, it is November. I guess we expect it, right? All right, let's get you out the door. Quick look at the drive. It is busy, right? We're in the heart, the busiest time of our morning drive. There's I-5 from Clark County, slow and go at SR 500. The Glen Jackson Bridge, we had an earlier crash there as well. That is cleared, but you can see that we're still pretty thick on that 205 commute as well. Nearly 30 minutes to get you from Main Street, or excuse me, from Patton Parkway down to Interstate 84. Over on the west side, looks like the sun's trying to come out, and we're also trying to clear up an earlier traffic jam. So 217, just north of Allen Boulevard, that crash has been cleared to the shoulder for a little while. But you can see here on the traffic map, we're lined up for about 4 miles or so with traffic really sputtering along here, 8 to 10 miles an hour on that northbound commute. So plan some extra time there for sure. And other drive times are starting to creep up. Right now, the trip in from Troutdale, 36 minutes on I-84. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Today is Election Day all across the country and, of course, right here for voters in Oregon and Southwest Washington.
Well, it's an off-year election. There is still some big measures on the ballot across our area. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us by a ballot drop-off site in Northwest Portland. So, Thomas, walk us through some of these measures.
Yeah, well, guys, we'll start here in Multnomah County, where both the county and the city are asking voters to approve a levy for parks funding. If that levy is passed, it would provide around $86 million in funding for parks next year and around $450 million over the 5 years of the levy. It would be used to clean and maintain parks and preserve access to free and discounted classes as well as recreation programs, though the measure could cause property taxes to increase by more than 3%. The median homeowner would pay about $310 a year, about a $130 increase over a year. Still, Mayor Keith Wilson says the parks are a worthwhile investment.
It's a difficult time, but we have to value the parks, and this is the time to really make sure that that value, that asset, is really high-performing and well-maintained.
Over in Washington County, that's also proposed a measure which would fund its public libraries. The measure would help fund in-person events, tutoring, and public access to Wi-Fi. It costs about $130 per year for a home that's worth close to $350,000. Now, if you haven't gotten your ballot in yet, you're running out of time here. You got to get it in by 8 o'clock today, either at drop boxes or if you want to mail it in person. If you do that, just make sure that it is postmarked with today's date, guys. So a couple of big measures here in Oregon coming up in the next half hour. We'll break down a couple of other big ones happening across the river in Clark County. Guys?
All right, Thomas Schultz leading off our Election Day coverage on this Tuesday morning. We're also getting a look at some of the video evidence that's been presented to a federal judge in the ongoing case to decide whether the Trump administration can or cannot deploy the National Guard to Portland.
Videos submitted by the Oregon DOJ show federal officers using what they believe to be excessive force against protesters. KGW's McCarty has a story.
During the 3-day trial in federal court, the federal government and the state submitted more than 750 exhibits, evidence for and against the deployment of federalized National Guard to Portland. As first reported by the Oregonian, videos shared by the Oregon Department of Justice show just some of the confrontations between federal agents and protesters. Confrontations plaintiffs label as excessive force on the part of the feds. The first video from August 13th shows 2 masked officers run behind a man standing on the sidewalk and shove him to the ground. Another angle of this incident showing 24 agents coming down the driveway as gas from one of their canisters fills the air. 3 days later, footage shows agents rushing down the road after protesters amid more smoke and tear gas. Then, in a time jump to the end of September, federal officers are seen converging on a group of people near the driveway after one pushes a demonstrator. Agents grab 2 more people, pulling them inside. The final 2 clips are from October 2nd, the first around 8:15 p.m. After a protester crosses the blue line, agents can be seen running after her and walking her inside. Around 9 p.m., another person crosses the line, prompting several agents to charge forward.
They come out and practice crowd control, using crowd control munitions against nonviolent protesters.
We talked with protester Vincent Hawkins, who detailed his experience with agents outside the facility. He was struck by a canister in the eye back in June.
I've been shot. I know friends that have had their bones broken, and they continue to come out here.
Meantime, the feds say there are protesters who are being violent against officers. 38 people have been charged with federal crimes near the ICE facility. The most recent, a Portland woman who made her first court appearance Monday for allegedly striking an officer's arm.
Again, that was Alma McCarty reporting for us this morning. We did reach out to the Department of Homeland Security for this story. They acknowledged receiving our request for comment, but did not give a response to those videos we just saw.
Meantime, nightly protests are still taking place outside the ICE building with people dressed in inflatable animals, costumes, specifically frogs, a trend that all started with Seth Todd, the original Portland protest frog. KGW's Blair Best sat down with one-on-one with Seth on the story. Seth said that the idea of wearing a frog suit came after first attending anti-ICE protest back in June, where federal agents sprayed mace and tear gas into the crowd of protesters. That's when Seth says that he decided to buy a frog suit to boost morale. His costume gained a lot of attention, something Seth was not expecting.
Panic. I've never been in a position where I gained that many followers.
What is sort of the bigger message of you going down there standing in a frog suit?
I don't think there's a bigger message other than to combat the narrative, the continuous narrative that we are violent people.
You can watch the full interview with Seth on the story over on KGW.com or on our streaming app, KGW+.
Before we get back to Rod Hill and his forecast, we're talking Great Toy Drive for a moment because now is the time to give. We kicked off the drive yesterday. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to donate. Probably the easiest way is just right here. Go to kgw.com/toy. You can donate cash at the site and let us do the toy shopping for you. If you'd rather donate in person, that's still an option. You can drop off new unwrapped toys at any IQ credit union, any Fred Meyer store, or any local Toyota dealership. Live look right here from our Toy Box gang. There it is. Again, the toys are, people go, how do you have that many toys 2 days into the event? Well, we had that big event last week to kick it off, the Toy Dash at Fred Meyer, where China, myself, and David Molko ran around the aisles for 2 minutes each and grabbed, in the end, more than 800 toys.
Yes, it was...
That's impressive.
Thank you, Rod, for the word.
Yeah.
Impressive is the word. All right, it's always fun this time of the year to see the toy box get fuller and fuller and fuller. Our future cast movie telling the main story. Outside of a little bit of mist in the air, some traceable amounts of moisture. We're basically cloudy but dry right now. This is the next wave of rain. This is 3 o'clock this afternoon. And then by the time we get to the 5, 6 o'clock hour, most of us have seen some rain, and the heavier rain shots keep coming overnight. So again, outside of a trace of moisture, we're basically dry until mid to late afternoon today. If you get up in elevation at all, it's kind of foggy. So here's the Dundee Hills out in wine country, Yamhill County. You get up in elevation, that's Domaine Serene Winery, and it is foggy out there and probably a little bit of mist falling from the sky. And same situation at 600 feet up at the Oregon Zoo in the West Hills. kind of foggy and probably a little bit of misty weather going on there as well. Temperatures are really comfortable with the clouds last night and the rain that we had. That is now basically over. We have temperatures that are in the 40s, even in a few spots reporting 50 out the door. There's Almsville, Canby, and Salem, all at 50 degrees for that first step outside on a Tuesday morning. All right, so later today, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, rain starts to come from south to north, pushing up into the area, up through the gorge. We'll see some rain later today into central Oregon as well. Here's the 7-day forecast. Today, 59. Don't forget, we have the impact alert up for tomorrow and Thursday. These are 2 days that we'll see heavy rain pockets coming and going. We'll see noticeably breezy to gusty south winds, more hours than not, maybe some peak gusts of 40, and there could be some thunder. That all gets out of here Friday. The weekend still looks like it's going to be bum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Pretty good. Back to you.
How's that go?
Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum.
All right, that's going to be the sound that I will be listening to as I'm raking leaves in our backyard. All right, let's get you out the door over on the west side, 217 northbound, earlier fender bender now. Just being cleared out of the way near Allen Boulevard. But again, we've got about a 4-mile stretch of 217 north that's running really slow from Allen all the way back past 99W at this point. So obviously plan some extra time there. Also, a little farther south, looks like we've got another crash. Not sure if there's any injuries with this, but it's right at the, it looks like this is Cruise Way, right atop I-5 here. And you can see the westbound commute anyway. Slow as the westbound right lane is blocked at this point. So traffic getting a little thick around that. Drive-in from Wilsonville has jumped up to 35 minutes at last check. The trip-in from Troutdale, a solid 35 minutes or so as well. And last but not least, out of Clark County, we're still looking at close to 40 minutes to get you in from Main Street south to the Fremont Bridge. Guys, we are in the busiest part of our morning commute right now, and the drive times certainly reflect that.
Thank you, Chris.
We're really pushing ourselves to do a little bit more and have a little extra on hand for when the phone rings and somebody says, hey, I need it.
Local nonprofits are experiencing a surge in demand as Oregonians deal with the lost SNAP benefit. Plus,
the first major elections of President Trump's second term offering insights into which party voters may be leaning toward ahead of next year's all-important midterms. I'm Alice Barr in Washington with the latest details on the races we're tracking coming up.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Following 2 federal court rulings, the Trump administration says it will partially fund the SNAP benefits program for November. In Oregon alone, we know there are roughly 750,000 people who receive those benefits, and it's still not clear how much they're going to get this month or when exactly they'll get it. In the meantime, local governments, nonprofits, and businesses have been stepping up to fill the gap. Feed the Mass is a nonprofit kitchen in Portland's Old Town. The development director told us they already do about 6,000 meals a week and are now leaning on volunteers to help meet the even greater demand.
These are new, all new contacts. None of them are repeat. And they just need some kind of assistance. They're trying to feed their families, how they're going to make it through the next day. So we just give them what we can.
People can also sign up to receive grocery store gift cards through the Feed the Mass website. It's feedthemass.org. The USDA has already said it could take weeks or even months for states to figure out how the reduced SNAP benefits will work.
Meantime, Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley denounced what he calls President Trump's Make America Hungry agenda, saying that the president was, quote, using food as a weapon to inflict harm on vulnerable kids, seniors, families across America. He went on to say, in part, quote, this is outrageous. The president needs to use both the full authority of the contingency funds and the interchange authority to fully fund SNAP benefits for November so families and kids don't starve.
Also a reminder, we have a growing list of local organizations that have stepped up to donate, fundraise, or give out free meals for people who may be faced with late or reduced SNAP benefits. You can text the word SNAP to that number on your screen, 503-226-5088, and we will text you back with a link to that list.
Your time now is 8:16. Rod Hill is here with a look at your forecast.
You know what's off to a good start is the
rain year.
Day.
The rainy season, and today. Both right,
Just
by
next
the way.
to you boys. It just starts up here.
No one else talks about the rain year in my life.
The rainy season. So the rainy season, traditionally, these parts, November 1 through March 31, used to be through February. And then along the line years ago, March actually averages more precip than February does. So 5-month period.
Go like this. Interesting.
Interesting.
They had me right up until they faked I'm interested. We have more rain coming. Dun, dun, dun. Pretty good front right here. Comes in on Wednesday. Another front back here swoops in rather quickly on Thursday. And the next batch of rain, these clouds out ahead of it all. Futurecast, again, this is the day that I realize there's some spots getting a little mist or a little trace of moisture falling out of the really low cloud deck we have, but otherwise we're dry until this moisture comes in this afternoon. So this is 3 o'clock, Eugene, Tillamook. Now by 5, 6 o'clock, we've got rain up through Portland. So mid to late afternoon today coming up from the south. And then once that starts, it's not raining every single second, but this is 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Here's 5 o'clock tomorrow. Here's Thursday at noon. Just occasional shots of heavy rain coming through. 6 o'clock Thursday. And with the heavy rain shots, we'll have blustery to gusty south winds, and there might be some rumbles of thunder mixed in as well. Rain totals, again, I always tell you don't attach a value to a city. The weather modeling isn't that good, but maybe the weather modeling is good enough to pick out the range. So the range along the coast would be over 2 inches to maybe pushing 3. The range in the valley would be at least over an inch, to most of us getting closer, I think, to 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches of rain coming out of this. This does show up to 2 inches in Kelso, so maybe there's a really wet spot in the valley, and decent rain amounts across all of our 2 states. Here's the wind forecast. No watches, warnings, advisories posted from our friends at the Weather Service. This is more about weather that's going to grab your attention. South winds tomorrow morning in Newport, 40, 45 mile per hour gusts potentially, 36 to 40 mile per hour gusts potentially in Salem. The strongest wind spikes probably will be tomorrow morning ending early afternoon, and then not as windy but noticeably blustery from the south on Thursday. Here's Timberline, one of our 2 cameras. You can see the clouds up there and what's kind of mostly old snow. They did pick up kind of 1 to 2 inches of wet snow at times up at 6,000 feet yesterday, but notice it's 35 right now. It could be rain not only at Timberline overnight tonight, but all the way up to 8,000 feet. The snow level then comes down tomorrow day and holds at about 5,000 feet, which means it'll be rain at Government Camp, not snow this time around as well. There's the Pioneer Park building looking out over the square and the courthouse. Temperatures upper 40s to about 50 on average, 50 in Salem right now in our 7-day forecast numbers. Here they come. So here they come. Sometimes it takes a while. Temperature about 59 today. The rain coming in mid to late afternoon. The blustery, windy, rainy weather tomorrow and Thursday with the impact alert. Friday morning, the wind threat is gone, but showers could linger into the afternoon before they completely end. And then we have a dry Saturday. And I think Sunday daytime is dry. There could be some rain coming in as early as Sunday evening. Here's Chris.
Rod, I found some sun.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's just a sun break, maybe. Maybe that's the way we refer to sun in November. Sun breaks, and the drivers have plenty of time to enjoy that sunshine now on westbound I-84. It's really thick coming in through the Gateway District, puttering along there at about 10, 12 miles an hour. Another slow spot, of course, I-5 through Tualatin, slow and steady up past the 205 interchange. There's your northbound drive. Right now, the trip in from Wilsonville is averaging about 35 minutes. By the way, speaking of I-5, I wanted to remind folks about this. Coming up later this week, Thursday night overnight into Friday, there is a full closure of I-5 between the Markham Bridge and the Terwilliger Curves. This is from 11 p.m. Thursday through 5 a.m. Friday morning. ODOT's doing some sign bridge installation in the area, so just be aware of that. Barber Boulevard will be your detour. There are more closures of I-5 coming in subsequent weeks. Of course, we will let you know about those ahead of time. Guys?
All right, thank you, Chris. Here's what's coming up next on Sunrise. We'll tell you more details about the two men accused of planning a terror attack in Michigan over Halloween weekend. We'll let you know what federal investigators found when they raided their homes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We've been talking a lot this morning about the measures on local ballots this election day, but there are also some high-stakes races in other parts of the country.
What happens today could be a preview into what comes into next year's critical midterm elections. NBC's Alice Bauer has the latest from Washington.
Today, the first major elections of President Trump's second term, offering a snapshot of how Americans are leaning and a chance to shift the political landscape. Governors' races in New Jersey and Virginia featuring two Democratic women with national security backgrounds who served together in the U.S. House, now pitching themselves as a Democratic revival.
Are you ready to send a message to the rest of the country and the world?
In Virginia, former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger taking on Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears for the state's top job, both focused on the economy.
Making sure that you keep as much of your own money in your pocket as possible.
While in New Jersey, Democratic Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill framing the razor-tight race against Republican Jack Ciattarelli.
People want change.
As a referendum on President Trump.
On every single occasion, Jack has decided, I'm going to defend Trump.
The president has stayed off the campaign trail while holding election eve tele-rallies for New Jersey and Virginia candidates and making a surprise endorsement of former New York Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo, running as an independent against Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani, who's generated a lot of buzz in a high-stakes New York City mayor's race.
We need to make this a city that everyone can afford.
What experience do you have to be mayor?
While in California, a ballot measure seeks to redraw lines to add Democratic seats to Congress to counter President Trump's redistricting push in states like Texas. President Trump also threatened to cut off funding for New York City if Mamdani wins. And the president is, in many ways, the undercurrent to these elections. as the political world looks for clues to how much sway he and how voters feel about him may have on next year's all-important midterms. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Now to your morning rush. 2 men are facing federal charges for allegedly planning a terror attack on Halloween weekend in Michigan. During a raid of their homes and storage unit, federal investigators say they found multiple AR-15 style rifles, shotguns, handguns, and more than 1,600 rounds of ammunition, as well as tactical gear. The FBI alleges that the two previously went to Ferndale, Michigan, where many clubs and bars attract members of the LGBT community to scout locations for a possible attack. And check out this video from Florida where a boat caught fire just off the coast. Helicopter videos show crews trying to put the flames out, but the boat was destroyed. 2 passengers in the boat were safely rescued by the Coast Guard. The cause of the fire is under investigation. And 3-time Academy nominee Diane Ladd has died at the age of 89. She's most known for her performances in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Wild at Heart, and Rambling Rose. Ladd's death was announced by her daughter, Oscar-winning actress Laura Dern. There's no word yet on the cause of death, and that's your morning rush.
Coming up in our next half hour, police looking for 3 men who were caught on camera robbing a Southeast Portland liquor store. They're also accused of injuring the store's 73-year-old owner when she tried to stop them. Plus,
911, what's the address of the emergency?
I would like to order a pizza.
a woman calls 911 and fakes a pizza order to try and get help during a domestic violence situation. Her full story at 8:30.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
Good morning, I'm Drew Carney. Following 2 federal court rulings, the Trump administration says it will partially fund SNAP benefits this month. In Oregon alone, there are about 750,000 people who receive SNAP food benefits. It's still not clear how much they're going to get for the month of November or when exactly they'll get those benefits. All right, Rob, what do you have for us in the Weather Center?
Well, sitting there looking at the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club out in Aloha, cloudy skies, no wind out there. Temperatures are comfortable. A lot of us are upper 40s to about 50 degrees outside. Now, you saw the low cloud deck. We are getting reports in multiple areas of a little mist or moisture coming out of the low cloud deck. Nothing measurable, and otherwise we're dry into the afternoon hours. Should be overcast, but dry at noon, 56 degrees, and then it's mid to late afternoon coming up from the south, rain returns. And once that wave begins, we're pretty wet all the way into Friday morning. Impact alert is still up for tomorrow and Thursday for a combination of heavy rain pockets, gusty south winds, and maybe some thunder mixed in. All of the rain ends during the day Friday. So Friday night's dry, Saturday's dry, and Sunday's mainly dry as well.
New this morning, former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84. He served 2 terms as VP under President George W. Bush from 2000 to 2008. And coming up in less than 20 minutes, a look back at Cheney's life and impact. And staying with politics, today is Election Day. Thomas Schultz has a look at a few noticeable measures on local ballots. That's ahead in just about 3 minutes.
It is a Tuesday morning here in the Sunrise Show, 8:30 half hour. Do you think it's common? Do you think everyone knows that every election day falls on a Tuesday? Is that
I would say not everybody knows the name of our country.
I was talking to someone over the weekend. They said, I think,
capitals.
They said, I think Election Day is next week. And I said, yeah, it's Tuesday. And they said, are you sure it's not Wednesday? I'm like, no, it's always on Tuesday. So that's the deal. I don't know. I ran into one person who didn't know.
News you can use.
Generally, it's the first Tuesday in November, right? Is this the first Tuesday in November?
It certainly is, Rod.
Yes.
It's Tuesday, November 4th.
It's Tuesday today.
Today's
Tuesday.
Okay. By the way,
tomorrow's Tuesday.
Today's Election Day. Did we get that across yet?
Yep.
Okay, we moving on?
Loud and clear.
Boy, we like to cover the bases, don't we? Here's a look at our satellite radar. I want you to notice with me right here. See the bright white? That's the next batch of moisture coming at us. That's going to pick up rain south to north during the afternoon. It looks like kind of like 3 o'clock if you live in Salem. Start looking for a raindrop. If you're in Portland, 4 to 5 o'clock, start looking for the raindrops to coming up from the south. We have a low cloud. Now, Chris has actually found some breaks in the cloud deck on his cameras. But generally, it's cloudy, and the cloud deck is low. We have some fog being reported, especially if you're up in elevation a little bit. Obviously, Salem was the camera I just showed you, and here's downtown Portland. It's comfortable out. 50 degrees is the number. Must be a sunbreak reported out along the Columbia River. That's the observation of PDX. 56 at noon, and then we have likely rain at 5 p.m. So kind of a mainly dry start, minus a little bit of mist in the air to a wet finish. And then again, that rain coming in later today is the kickoff to the rainy pattern with the impact alert up for tomorrow and on Thursday as well. For this afternoon, again, rain also expected to creep over the Cascades into central Oregon. It will be rain eventually as high as 8,000 feet on the mountain, Mount Hood, later today into tonight. So here's our 7-day, 59 today. Again, the rain coming in later today, a rainy night. Combination of gusty south winds, heavy rain pockets, and maybe some thunder and lightning Wednesday, Thursday, so the impact alert is up. The winds will be calmer by Friday morning, but the rain showers could linger into the afternoon, eventually ending. So a dry Friday night, a dry Saturday, a dry Sunday, although we are saying some of the models show rain coming in as early as Sunday evening. Other models say, nope, that rain doesn't come in until Monday. So we're still waiting to see how that plays out. Here's Chris McGinnis.
I like the nope.
Nope.
Let's move it later. Nope. You're not getting there in a hurry out of Clark County this morning. We are late and slow with the I-5 drive. That's the upper left-hand part of your screen there. We'll take you there. The lineup on I-5 is still back past SR 500 towards Main Street right now, moving along at about 10 miles an hour. So with that in mind, the trip in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge has jumped up to 45 minutes at last check. That is certainly one of our slower remaining freeway commutes right now. Hopping to the other side of town down to Gladstone, I-205, pretty thick here. You can see right at 213 heading down towards the Abernathy Bridge. So Clackamas to West Lynn, that drive still needs some help. Over the west side, 217 still pretty slow northbound. And the inbound Sunset, Highway 26, just shy of 30 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough to the Vista Ridge Tunnel. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. As we mentioned at the top of the half hour, today is Election Day. Local voters are weighing in on a lot of measures this election cycle.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz has more on some of the measures to keep an eye on in Southwest Washington.
Voters in Clark County have a couple of big decisions to make, largely revolving around funding for police and fire departments. In Camas and Washougal, voters will decide whether or not to fund a regional fire authority. The Camas-Washougal Fire Department is the only one in Clark County running 2-person engines right now. The extra money would allow the agency to create 3-person engines. The city of Washougal says the change would create higher levels of service and streamline operations. It costs about $1 for every $1,000 of assessed value of a property. In Vancouver, voters will decide whether or not to fund 13 more police officers. The city says since 2017, dispatchers are receiving 24% more calls. The measure would cost 15 cents per year for every $1,000 of a home's assessed value. That's about $75 for a $500,000 home. If you haven't cast your ballot yet, You better do it soon. Those ballot box drop sites close at 8 p.m. tonight. If you do mail in your ballot, make sure that it is postmarked with today's date. Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
In other local news this morning, police are looking for the men behind a robbery that turned violent and sent the owner of a Southeast Portland liquor store to the hospital.
Catherine Cook walks us through the security video.
In Southeast Portland, it's business as usual at the liquor store on Southeast 52nd and Powell. A stark contrast to what happened here Friday night, Halloween. Around 6:45, security video shows 3 men walking in wearing masks. You can see them grab merchandise off the shelves before walking out without paying for it. At that point, you see the store's owner, a 73-year-old woman, according to family members, follow them outside. On Facebook, the owner's daughter, Jennifer Fuller, says her mom had hoped to take back some of what was stolen, but then things took a violent turn. It wasn't captured on camera, but Fuller says in a panic to protect her business, her mom reached into the suspect's car. She says they slammed the car door on her hand, causing her to fall, then dragged her through the parking lot before she could finally free her arm. Fuller says her mom suffered a traumatic brain bleed, a fractured skull, and several broken bones. Please pray for us for a miracle, Fuller wrote, that our amazing mom, who was in great health and has never had a broken bone in her young 73 years of life, can come through this. Police tell KGW the major crimes team is investigating the case. They didn't issue a description of the suspects, but here's another look at what the cameras captured. Loved ones hope anyone who's able will share these images, and that anyone who knows who these men are or what car they were driving will tell police. Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Portland police are also investigating 5 shootings that happened across the city this past weekend. 2 of them were fatal, with one person found dead in a downtown Portland parking lot and another at a North Portland gas station. At least 4 other people were also hurt during the weekend shootings. Here's Portland Police Chief Bob Day.
Any loss of life, regardless of the circumstances, is a tragedy for us as a community, and it's something that we should never just have be a statistic or a number.
Chief Day also says Portland has seen 41 homicides so far this year. That's compared to 62 around this same time a year ago.
Battleground police are investigating a string of car break-ins across multiple neighborhoods, including Creekside Heights and Mill Creek Meadows. Officers believe the suspect is a man in his 30s with a shaved head and dark clothing. They say the distance between reports indicates that he is driving between locations and believe he may be responsible for several incidents. So if you recognize him or have footage of a similar break-in, call Battleground Police.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
I would like to order a pizza.
Do you have an emergency? Just answer yes or no.
Yes.
Authorities say that 911 call from July of this year of a person ordering a pizza was actually a woman facing domestic violence and looking for help. We want to let you know we did alter her voice to protect the woman's identity. Just last week, that call was used as evidence to help convict a Gresham man of assault. Prosecutors say a man and a woman had gotten into an argument that turned violent. So the woman hid in a bedroom, called 911 and used those coded words referring to a pizza order to ask for help, something the dispatcher immediately picked up on.
Getting cases even to my office, I think, is difficult. A lot of times people just want the police to come, they want it kind of to go away, and they want the situation to be diffused, but even getting them to make the initial call sometimes is a lot.
National statistics show that 1 in 4 women will be the victim of a domestic violence assault. In this case, the assault was a Measure 11 felony and will come with a mandatory 70-month sentence. Also, a reminder this morning that if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is always available. You can call that number on your screen, 800-799-7233, to reach the National Domestic Violence Hotline. You can also text the line at 88788.
New this morning, Portland police are looking for more victims after they arrested a St. Helens man on charges including sodomy and sexual abuse. In January, Portland police received 2 separate reports from women who said that they were sexually assaulted by a man that they met on dating apps. Both women said the incident happened around Southeast 47th and Hawthorne. They say that this man, 26-year-old Cameron Hinman, used physical force to engage in sexual activity. Both women needed medical attention. Hinman was taken into custody last Friday and arrested on a warrant. Police believe that there may be other victims, so anyone with information is asked to contact Portland Police.
All right, quick traffic update here from Chris McGinnis.
Yeah, guys, it's still a busy morning commute out there. We'll take a look at some of the cameras. This down here in the lower right-hand part of your screen, that's the Banfield right out by I-205. So we are still puttering along a little bit there. In fact, the trip in from Troutdale now is still about 32 minutes. Meanwhile, a little good news. We've moved the end of the line a little bit from our last check here. This is up near Main Street on I-5, and the lineup starts between there and about SR 500. So still slow and go to get you in down towards the Fremont Bridge on I-5. That's just shy of 45 minutes. Hey, speaking of I-5, later on this week, in fact Thursday night to be exact, there is a full closure of I-5 between the Markham Bridge and the Twilliger curves, the Twilliger exit. And that means all on and off ramps will also be closed. This is so ODOT can do some sign bridge installation along I-5. So just know that that closure is from 11 o'clock until Friday at 5 a.m. Barber Boulevard is going to be your traffic solution. There will be more closures upcoming later on this month, and we'll certainly highlight those as they get closer. China?
Thank you, Chris. Coming up, you may have seen him in Bridgerton or Wicked, but Jonathan Bailey has a new title under his belt. We'll explain ahead.
Hey, the holidays are coming up and our team is busy, not only looking for the best gifts for you to give, they'll love you, don't worry, I got your back, but also take care of yourself, treat yourself, and treat yourself to this. Saban has you covered with luxury self-care products that take care of you from head to toe. You already get a great deal. This is hundreds of dollars worth that you're getting at a discount because you can buy the bundled 7-day Advent box or the 24-day Advent box. And on top of that, we have an exclusive deal for you. So we're stacking savings. We'll get to that in a second. First, what you get. And first of all, it's fun. Every day you open up the Advent box, you have a new gift. Let's say this body scrub, for example. I wanted to show you how big this is because they give you a lot of it and you get a lot of products too, including shower oils, face polisher, a Dead Sea mask for your face. You also have this shampoo right over here that's really nice, this Cool Mint scalp scrub. Yeah, it's Cool Mint. And by the way, they have amazing scents from mint to lavender to jasmine as well. Over here you have hand cream, you have this silky body milk as well, the lotion. And on top of all the products you get, you also get this keepsake box right over here, okay? And like I said, the discounts are incredible. 25% off the retail value just for you today for watching. All you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen or visit shoptvdeals.com. Take care of yourself.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued an impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back. We are continuing to follow national news from overnight. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84.
His family issued a statement saying he suffered complications from pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. Blaine Alexander looks back at the former VP's life and political career.
Before he held the office, vice presidents were the butt of jokes. Dick Cheney was a force. In 2000, the closest presidential election ever sent him to the White House.
So help me God.
Cheney was there alone on September 11, 2001. He ordered the administration's first response to the deadliest attack on U.S. soil. Cheney knew the Situation Room. He had been Gerald Ford's chief of staff 3 decades earlier, then a Wyoming congressman for 6 terms, the House GOP whip, leaving to be defense secretary for George H.W. Bush.
Should Saddam Hussein be foolish enough to launch an attack against Saudi Arabia?
Cheney confronting Iraq's dictator for the first time. After 9/11, Vice President Cheney led the push for an invasion to depose Saddam Hussein. But no weapons of mass destruction were found. Iraq descended into civil war. U.S. troops became targets.
Bring the troops home!
Many Americans came to see the Iraq War as a mistake, but Dick Cheney never did.
Saddam Hussein wakes up every day in a jail cell. His sons are dead. And Iraqis by the millions have embraced democracy.
An avid hunter, Cheney in 2006 accidentally wounded a friend with birdshot. Cheney had faced decades of heart problems, in a wheelchair for the 2009 inauguration.
I think Barack Obama is a one-term president.
A 5th heart attack in 2010. In 2012, Cheney got a heart transplant, but coronary disease did not weaken his hardline on al-Qaeda and enhanced interrogations that others called torture.
They were legal, essential, justified, successful, and the right thing to do. This nation has defeated tyrants and liberated death camps.
Dick Cheney, a self-confident and controversial leader who shaped America's war on terror. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
We're going to shift back to our local forecast here this morning. A live look outside our Mount Hood Timberline Lodge sky cam pointing at the mountain. Can't see a whole lot of it there because of the cloud cover up high. Rod Hill also up high this morning. He's on the roof of KGW's studios. What do you got for the outerwear there, Rod? A little sweater vest?
Got the vest on. We've got the sweater. Got the black tie. I've got matching socks, although you can't see those. But they are matching.
I meant the vest part. I was just wondering what you were wearing for the outdoors.
I thought we were getting into a fashion segment. Hey, you can see the raindrops on the lens right there. There continues to be reports of a little bit of not really traceable, but light moisture falling from the low clouds that we have. Visibility's pretty good here on the weather deck, brought to you by Rick's Custom Fencing and Decking. I can see the clouds seem to be rising. It was kind of foggy in the West Hills, but that no longer looks to be the case to me. Let's get you going with what we expect today. So outside of a trace of moisture falling from the low clouds this morning in patchy areas, we are dry until moisture starts to come into us later this afternoon. You can see the big front spinning offshore. There's a front tomorrow and a front Thursday. Both will bring really active weather. But first off, here's the rain coming in. 3 o'clock this afternoon, we start the rain chance in Eugene, maybe as far north as Salem. Most models say Portland has some raindrops coming in somewhere around the 5 o'clock hour today. And then after that, it's just raining for the next couple of days. Not steady rain, but occasional shots of rain, all of which will come with embedded pockets of heavier rain rates coming through. So you could get caught in a downpour tomorrow. You could get caught in the downpour on Thursday. And the south winds will be gusty through that period of time. And there may, in fact, be some rumbles of thunder mixed in. Futurecast likes over 2 inches of rain falling at the coast. This would be from what starts later today through Friday noon. And likes, on average, 1.25 inches to about 1.5 inches of rain falling here in the Willamette Valley. And notice some decent rain amounts across all of Oregon and up into Washington as well. So we do have the impact alert up for the next 2 days due to the gusty south winds, the heavy rain, and maybe some thunder mixed in. There's the Rose City, cloudy skies, but again, the cloud deck seems to be going up a little bit. 50 is the number, so it's very comfortable. I don't really feel any breeze up here on the weather deck this morning. 48 in Kelso, 50 degrees in Salem. It's also 52 in John Day. We have a mixed bag of cloudiness across all areas, so nobody really got cold last night. Valley forecast numbers, upper 50s to maybe hitting 60. Again, rain returning mid-afternoon into the valley and then closer to 5 o'clock up into the Portland area. Our 7-day forecast is going to show you the 2 impact alert days in red tomorrow and Thursday. So today 59, the heavy rain at times tomorrow and Thursday. Gusty south winds in the valley, maybe 30 to 40. There's no advisories or watches up currently from the Weather Service. This is more than anything just going to be weather that really grabs your attention, and you're going to be kind of dodging it if you're outside working. The rain showers in during the day Friday. I think we're all dry Friday night. Saturday's dry, and Sunday could be entirely dry as well before rain comes in Sunday evening or overnight. It is birthday time. All right, short birthday party, but good one on this Tuesday. There's Nova, who is 6 today. Happy birthday to you. I love the glasses. And then also celebrating today is Alicia, who is 11 years old. Happy birthday to you on this Tuesday. That's our list. Birthdays at KGW.com. Let's go back inside. Here's Chris McGinnis.
Well, 10 minutes before 9 o'clock, the drive finally is starting to dial back a little bit with the drive times. There still are some slow spots out there, though several. That's I-5 near Capitol Highway, that northbound drive rolling along at about 15 miles an hour. Over on the Sunset, the inbound commute here, right there, coming past Skyline Boulevard, that's still pretty thick as well. At last check, your drive in from Hillsborough, it's just shy of 30 minutes, and we're still looking at a 35-minute ride from Troutdale. You really hit the brakes right there on Interstate 84, rolling through the Gateway District by I-205. Last but not least, the drive out of Clark County, slowly improving. 35 minutes now gets you from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Top local stories this morning. Today is Election Day. You have until 8 o'clock tonight to drop off your ballot at an official drop box. You can also drop it off at the post office, but you have to make sure they postmark it today. If you put it in a mailbox and it sits there until tomorrow, it's no good. Following 2 federal court rulings, the Trump administration says it will partially fund SNAP benefits this month. In Oregon alone, there are about 750,000 people who receive SNAP food benefits. Now, it's still not clear exactly how much those people will get this month or when exactly they'll get it. Multnomah County's Preschool for All program is adding 240 more tuition-free seats, and applications are now open for classes starting in January. There's no income requirements to apply, but keep in mind, 900 people are already on a wait list to get in. Placements will start at the end of the month.
Well, I was just up on the weather deck. I thought it was pretty nice outside. Didn't notice any wind at all. We're sitting at about 50 degrees. Mainly dry across the region until rain starts to come in mid to late afternoon from the south. And then we have the gusty south winds, the heavy rain pockets coming and going, maybe some rumbles of thunder. That's tomorrow and Thursday, the reason for the impact alert. It all gets out of here Friday. Saturday, we're really happy here in the Northwest. Sunday, I think we're really happy. And Monday, after a couple decent days, we'll be happy the rain's back.
You're going to tell me how I'm feeling?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Keep your thoughts to yourself. All right, how do we feel about the drive this morning? It's still slow. Upper left-hand corner of your screen is I-5 from Clark County. That is, we're late to be running that thick right now. That's from SR 500. The trip in from Hillsborough right now, 27 minutes, 34 minutes from Troutdale. And that camera I just showed you now from I-5 in Clark County. Still a 31-minute ride from Main Street to Fremont Bridge.
All right, move over. Chris, Rod, and Drew. Jonathan Bailey, who plays Prince Fiero in the Wicked movies, has been named people's sexiest man alive. Sorry, Boris. You were in the running, but you just missed it by that much.
A baseball cap does it for me.
I like the glasses.
You're going to say for him, but it does it for you, huh?
Yeah.
What do you like, China?
I don't know.
Nothing, really. If you, I'm just kind of looking on his face, yeah. Okay, if you haven't seen Wicked, you may know Bailey from his roles in Bridgerton, Fellow Travelers, or Jurassic World Rebirth.
This is maybe this is too much with 33 seconds to go in the show, but if you were to pick sexiest man alive,
David Beckham.
David Beckham.
Well, that was
Always
really
and
fast.
forever since I was a little girl.
Okay, so obviously that was churning in your head as you were reading that story. That came out quick.
I'm sure he's been the sexiest man alive
I
like
think he has
15
been.
years in a row.
That guy, no David Beckham.
I'm going to look it up, but I won't be able to share the answer for sure until tomorrow because we are out of time. But thank you for watching the Sunrise Show on this Tuesday morning. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another fantastic episode.